Welcome to Infinity Reports. Today we bring you a developing and highly sensitive international story that is reshaping security calculations across the Middle East and drawing the attention of governments, markets, and ordinary people around the world. The United States has begun withdrawing some of its personnel from military bases in the Middle East as tensions with Iran sharply escalate, raising fears of possible confrontation and wider regional instability. According to officials familiar with the matter, this move is being described as a precautionary adjustment rather than a full military withdrawal. The goal, they say, is to reduce risk to personnel while closely monitoring Iran's next steps. Even so, the decision itself signals how seriously Washington is taking the latest warnings coming out of Tehran. Iranian officials have publicly warned that if the United States launches strikes on Iranian territory, retaliation would follow, and U.S. military installations in the region would be among the primary targets. These statements have triggered heightened alert levels across American bases, as well as concern among U.S. allies who host American forces. At the center of attention is the broader political and security climate surrounding Iran. The country has been experiencing intense internal unrest, with widespread protests met by a harsh government response. These internal developments have drawn international condemnation and placed Iran under renewed global scrutiny. U.S. leaders have repeatedly criticized Tehran's actions, while also warning that further escalation could carry serious consequences. In response to these rising tensions, U.S. military planners have reportedly reassessed the exposure of non-essential personnel. Some staff have been advised to leave certain locations, while others have shifted to heightened security protocols. Officials emphasize that core military capabilities remain intact, and that the United States retains the ability to respond quickly if the situation deteriorates. Regional governments are watching closely. Countries hosting U.S. forces understand that any escalation could directly affect their own security. Some have increased internal security measures, while quietly urging restraint on all sides. For them, the presence of foreign military bases is both a strategic asset and a potential liability during moments of crisis. Iran, meanwhile, continues to assert that it does not seek war, but insists it will defend itself if attacked. Iranian leaders accuse Washington of provoking instability and interfering in internal affairs, while portraying their warnings as defensive rather than aggressive. This back-and-forth rhetoric has created an environment where misunderstandings or miscalculations could rapidly spiral out of control. Diplomatic channels between the two countries remain limited, adding another layer of risk. With little direct communication, messages are often sent through intermediaries or public statements, increasing the chance that intentions are misread. Analysts warn that history shows how quickly regional standoffs can escalate when dialogue breaks down. Beyond military concerns, the impact is being felt economically as well. Energy markets are closely watching developments, given the Middle East's central role in global oil supply. Any hint of conflict in the region tends to push prices higher, affecting consumers worldwide. Shipping companies are also reassessing routes, and insurers are adjusting risk premiums for vessels operating near sensitive areas. For ordinary people living in the region, the uncertainty is deeply unsettling. Heightened military activity, security alerts, and constant news of potential conflict add to existing economic and social pressures. Many fear that another confrontation would bring consequences far beyond government buildings and military installations. Experts say the U.S. personnel withdrawal is best understood as a signal rather than a conclusion. It signals caution, readiness, and awareness of risk, while stopping short of indicating imminent military action. At the same time, it sends a message to Iran that the United States is taking its warnings seriously and preparing for multiple scenarios. Critics argue that even limited withdrawals can be interpreted as weakness, potentially encouraging further brinkmanship. Supporters counter that protecting lives while maintaining deterrence is a responsible approach in an unpredictable environment. This debate reflects a broader question facing policymakers: how to apply pressure without triggering the very conflict they aim to avoid. As the situation continues to unfold, global leaders are calling for restraint and renewed diplomatic efforts. International organizations and regional mediators are urging all sides to step back from the edge, warning that any military confrontation would have far-reaching consequences well beyond the Middle East. For now, the world is watching closely. Every statement, every movement, and every decision is being analyzed for clues about what comes next. Whether this moment leads to de-escalation or deeper confrontation remains uncertain. But what is clear is that the stakes could not be higher. We will continue to follow this story and bring you clear, unbiased updates as new information becomes available. If you want to stay informed on major global developments like this one, subscribe, like, and comment.